Hi Honeybunches, welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name's Phoebe. I can't chat for long, but I thought I should say hi. I'm off to a therapy session and then having lunch with a friend. But I will catch up with you later and especially talk about the first pop-up that I had. Hello! I just ran some errands on the way back. Got some extra bits and bobs for the kitchen. Measuring thing. A bunch of spoons from the op shop to like measure stuff. Scissors. A huge plastic baggy thing to carry cake boxes to the pop-up venue. And a tub to put my utensils in at the kitchen. It's really humid today. It's currently Thursday afternoon and I think I finally calmed down from the stress of the pop-up. Not so much the thing itself, but the lead up. The place we went for lunch was unreal. The bagel was so good. My gluten-free bagels are nowhere near as good as that. Holy moly. And that levain, is it? Style of chocolate chip cookie? Out of this world. I'd totally written that type of hunk of dough looking cookie off because to my mind they just look like a cookie that hasn't spread. Why would that float the boat? But it's all the good bits of a flat, crunchy on the outside, except it's just increased by 500% in volume. And the vanilla taste, out of this world. So good. Best cookie I've ever had. And I didn't realize just how much I needed a lunch with a friend, you know, just to make me feel more myself and switch my perspective around because so the pop-up lead up was just so stressful. I definitely just sort of had to go into survival push through mode, and I think that left me with quite a depleted cup and quite cynical view of things. So the pop-up in itself was joyful. It was such a warm excited atmosphere. Lots of people came, there was a line, and I opened at 11 and sold out 20-25 minutes later. I thought I'd made a lot of food, evidently not. Made more than I ever have, baking wise, in one go, but there were just so many factors added in the lead up that even though I did so much planning, it was just really hard. So I was going to be prepping on the Friday and then back in the kitchen in the morning, and then the pop-up was 11 on that morning, the Saturday morning. And on Thursday evening, Merlin swallowed a tennis ball and needed it surgically removed in the end that Thursday night. He couldn't bring it up. It was another dog's ball, slightly smaller than a regular tennis ball, but still a tennis ball with that lovely yellow furry coating. And while dogs do swallow things that they're not supposed to, he hadn't even punctured it. It was whole in his body. So yeah, he needed stomach surgery to get that removed, and it wasn't the least invasive procedure. It was quite scary and very stressful, and yeah, happening very late at night on the Thursday, just before a really busy day, and also totally reaching my priorities because he's my responsibility and number one love. So in my head I'm well, food doesn't trump Merlin, so this doesn't feel like a priority, but I just have to do it. And I kind of wanted to be the one at the vet with him on the Friday, you know, be there so if he feels a little bit comforted or there's something familiar, but I just couldn't, and my head was just not in best cooking mode. In my opinion, I did the worst baking I've ever done. there was something that went wrong with everything. I had to ditch 2 things and then I made 2 new things last minute, just to like kind of make up the numbers. There still wasn't a huge amount of food, but it was like 150 items I'd made. Then my dad, who was down from Canberra, is like, I can help you if you need, like on the Saturday morning. So he came and did all the cleaning of the kitchen, which I just didn't have like the energy to do, and helped me just get it all packed up. So I left and was at the pop-up location on time. And then once I was there and like some friends were there and they were helping me and familiar faces popped round and like gave me a hug, the vibe of it sort of rubbed off. I had a really good time and see everyone's faces, and it was all really well received and people loved the food, and yeah, it sold out pretty quick. I'm so glad I made freebies because I think everyone in the line got something, even if when they got to the front of the line everything was sold out. But yeah, it was a success. I just wasn't super present for it, and even though I was just not enjoying it at all on the Friday especially, I was like, I'm never doing this again type thoughts. I just had to remember that like there were just so many things outside my control that happened. Just super like unlucky things. Working in the kitchen for the first time as well with like severe brain fog and not much sleep, and just figuring out like how to like work effectively and efficiently in that space for the first time. Like that's hard anyway. But since sleeping a lot and recovering exhaustion wise, I am really looking forward to the next opportunity to just like partake in the enjoyment personally, because that's part of the like aim for me to enjoy it too, and not just to have a grueling time. And I think on like a practical level, like so many things went wrong, it just can't be that stressful a second time, like to do it again and to implement all those like just honestly tiny little things to make it like workflow wise and menu wise. Like I made way too many things and should have just made much more of less things. You know, it's gonna make it just so much not easier but less stressful. Hopefully. I think I made 11 things, then I had to ditch 2 because they were unsolvable because of equipment problems, because of oven issues or ingredient or kitchen temperature issues. And this time I'm planning for 6, which is still heaps, and it's just so much easier to not have my head split in so many different directions. Making 9 things where each one has like at least 2, more like 3 or 5 components. Not super smart. So the plan at the moment is to do it fortnightly until Christmas. My next date is the 15th. And while I was thinking 2 weeks sounds good to my brain, like that's ample time to get yourself sorted, like it's not that much time. And I think it's at least at the moment, really like contracting my perception of time. I know that will get better as time goes on, but for the flowers, for example, I buy them from 2 places online, one of which is strictly gluten-free and ships from Queensland, and they take like a week and a half. So I really have to like be aware of what I'm making, and what I'm going to do next week is just plan a few of them ahead. I'm really hoping people keep coming and it wasn't just like a one-time fluky thing, and that will allow me to buy a couple of the flowers instead of like in 5 kilo bags, in 25 kilo bags. So I just have that assurity, and that will keep me going.